Hi, it's me again. I thought that I would do another video blog because I'm still on my holidays and I'm too lazy to do any typing at the present minute. Um, yeah, after the last blog talking about musicals and stuff, I got to thinking about how often people say to me, "What have you got coming up next? What are you going to go see next?" I'm thinking of going to see something. What should I go see? And I thought about the fact that I seem to constantly give the same answers to these questions. I'm constantly like, "Oh, you should go see Les Mis. Oh, you should go see Phantom." Um, and it's a bit of like a standing joke now that if I go to London without seeing Phantom of the Opera, it's very much a rarity. I've only seen it 5 times, which I feel is not a lot in the grand scheme of it being on for 32 years. I've only been alive for 29 of them, but I feel in the scheme of it that's not a huge amount. But yeah, it does have a massive following, does Phantom, and I thought I would give you my top 10 reasons why Phantom of the Opera is something that you should definitely go see if you have a free evening and you are knocking around central London. Um, First reason is the music in Phantom of the Opera. I mean, everybody's heard the song Phantom of the Opera, everybody's heard Music of the Night, and they are two of the biggest songs in there. There are like amazing other songs in the show. Masquerade is just rousing. Wishing You Somehow Here Again gets you right there. There's lots of like little bits of songs in there that are phenomenally good and tie the whole story together. I once saw an interview not so long ago actually. I think it was Andrew Lloyd Webber's 70th birthday. He did like a special interview and like followed him around and stuff. And he said that whenever he goes to see Phantom of the Opera, or happens upon rehearsals, or goes and gets in the theatre, he said that when the overture starts, he gets like a bit of a heart in the mouth kind of a moment, and he thinks it's the best thing that he's ever written. And I kind of agree with him. I mean, he's written a phenomenal amount of songs of varying descriptions, but I kind of agree that you cannot argue with Phantom of the Opera, the overture, the score being phenomenal. There's like a meme online where it says, "If you can listen to Phantom of the Opera and not develop an invisible organ, we can't be friends," and that's true. I mean, if you listen to the soundtrack or watch the 25th anniversary DVD, or the film to a lesser extent, let's not go into that. Yeah, if you listen to any of those and it starts and you don't go dun 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 dun, then there's something probably a little bit wrong with you. Yeah, you can't not do that. The music's absolutely iconic, and if Andrew Lloyd Webber thinks it's his best work, then who are we to argue with it, really? Second reason that you should go see it is the story. I mean, the songs are great, but they've got to tell the story of Phantom of the Opera. If you've ever read the book of the Phantom of the Opera, it's very much like it in that there is the jeopardy, there is the conflict, there is like the whole Raoul Christine romance. There's lots of the things going on. I mean, there's bits that are missed out. There's always gonna be, but the musical itself is very, very of the theme of it. Yeah, there is a lot of kind of conflict and drama. There isn't really a goodie and a baddie. I mean, depending on your perspective. The Phantom's a murderer. Let's not beat around the bush here. He's not the nicest guy, but there are times in it where you go, "Oh, I feel really sorry for the fella," which is really clever because on paper he shouldn't be anybody that you want to like. And there are times when all of the characters have moments of sympathy and moments where you're faintly annoyed with them. So I think that's a really clever balance and a clever line for a show like Phantom to walk, because it'd be really easy to just have an all-out pantomime baddie in the Phantom and have, Raoul and Christine being like, I don't know, Cinderella and Prince Charming or something, and they're not like that at all. And I think that's a really interesting story point in there, and it does kind of keep the drama going, keep the conflict going, and it just makes it really interesting to watch. It's a long show. When you look at the running time in the programme, you think, Jesus, we're going to be in here for this long. But then it gets to the interval and you're like, oh, I feel like I've been sat down for like 10 minutes. What's gone off here then? Because a lot happens, so it keeps it exciting, it keeps it interesting. So yeah, you won't be bored. You will not be bored by the storyline. Point three is that it's been around forever. So it opened in 1986, and it's been at the same theatre since 1986, which I find really, really interesting that it's just never moved. But yeah, it's been on for so long, and I think in part it's to do with how the music tells the story. There is no dialogue in Phantom of the Opera. There isn't any moments where it stops and starts and everyone has a chat and then starts singing again. It's just continuous music. And I think that plays really well if you don't have English as a first language, because if you've heard the soundtrack in your language, or even if you haven't, the music kind of gives you a bit of a theme. So some songs are really rousing and you feel amazing after them. Some songs are really like deep and you think, oh, this is quite sentimental, or this is bringing out something different in terms of the story. Some songs you know are amusing. Yeah, I think that's really intelligent, because it just means if you don't have English as a first language, you can go see it. So it is really popular with like a tourist crowd. So if you are a tourist, you should definitely go see it. But by the same token, it's very intelligently written lyrically as well for kind of English language speakers. So yeah, there's a reason for its longevity. So if you haven't seen it, then you probably definitely should, because you can't be a musicals fan and not have seen some of the big hitters, the long running ones. You know, go investigate it. Point four is the costumes and the set and the staging and all stuff like that. So if you follow Phantom of the Opera as an account on Twitter, every now and then it'll be like the wardrobe people or the costume designers or what have you that'll post stuff. And I find that really interesting, because they use the original sketches, they source really interesting fabrics to use in the costumes and fit for new cast members. And some of the costumes in there are really, really spectacular. So Masquerade, I mean, there's mannequins on stage, which just terrifies me because I hate mannequins in every single form that you could possibly imagine them. But even the costumes on the mannequins are stunning. There's my favourite costume in Masquerade is one that is, I don't know how to describe it with, it's kind of half man, half woman. So it's got a bit of a skirt and like a bit of like top hat and stuff like that. And there's the attention to detail. Somebody who designed them must have had a field day putting these together. So yeah, like well done to them. They've held up really well over like 30 odd years. It's still stunning. And there's times in the show where, especially like the ensemble and the swings, they must have to do some really quick changes, because from one huge spectacular costume to another huge spectacular costume must take some doing and must take some prep work and some sorting out and some working out who's going to go where, why and when. But it's also like seamless and you don't really see anything that's out of place. Everything is just pristine and beautiful and stunning. Even Raoul, when he goes from old man Raoul at the auction with his like beard, his wrinkles, and in his chair with his scarf like a little old man, he then comes out not very long afterwards. I think it's like 9 minutes he's got to change into young, handsome, good-looking Raoul. That must take some doing. That's a skill. If you ever see like a time-lapse video that one of them posts on Twitter or Instagram, that is fascinating, because I couldn't. I mean, it takes me a really long time to do my makeup, and that's not even like stage makeup making me look like something that I'm not. So how they manage that, I don't properly understand. But yeah, it's a spectacle. It's a sight for your eyes as much as for your ears. Speaking of which, point number 5 is the singing and the performing in it is amazing. I first saw Phantom of the Opera because the guy playing the Phantom was someone that I'd seen in Les Mis, Geronimo Rauch. If you don't know who he is, look him up, because like he's got a hell of a voice on him. I only went to go see it because I was torn between that and another musical and saw him in it and thought, oh, I'm in for a treat. He blew me away even more than he did as Valjean. Like, they are both tricky parts to sing, but I tell you what, as the Phantom of the Opera, you have got to be good. There are moments where the singing is really soft and really kind of like emotive and gentle, and then there's some bits where you've just got to like give it some serious beans, and that takes a real performer. I mean, all of the characters do, all of even the ensemble. You've got to be phenomenally good to sing the songs that are in there, because it's kind of a show within a show. Like, it's an opera within a musical, so you've got to have a lot of different skill sets in your voice, I think, and it must be a nightmare to cast because there can't be that many people with such an amazing array of talent out there, but they find them. Yeah, the stars of it are incredible. Everybody in it's incredible. You know, you've got to be good to be in Phantom. So if you go see anybody in Phantom, swing, cover, understudy, whatever, you know that you're in for a treat, and you know that you're in for something that is going to really stick in your mind as a performance, because it's a big show. You've got to be a big performer. Speaking of performances, number 6 is the managers are really funny. You know, it should be on paper quite a dramatic, tense, serious evening, if you like. It's a musical about an opera that has a serial killer in it. That's quite a big subject. It's quite a serious subject, but the managers bring that like little tension breaking comedy in there. If you get a pair of managers that have a really good rapport and a really good chemistry with each other, they are hilarious. You know, just the looks that they give each other, the like one raised eyebrow can just make me chuckle. Yeah, it's not all serious. It's not all doom and gloom. Don't be fooled into thinking that it's going to be quite a dry evening, because there are moments in there that are funny. And I think that's good, because it's quite a difficult line to balance and difficult tightrope to walk, if you like. Something that is, I mean, it's based on like turn of the century French literature. It's not comedy gold, is it? Let's be fair. So to put something in there that lightens the mood is kind of necessary, I think. And the managers are the two main people that bring that. So yeah, they're guaranteed to raise a smile. Something else that raises a smile is number 7, which is the tricks and the magic and the stuff that goes on in there. That 5 times I've seen this show, and there are bits that I do not understand in there. I just don't get it. Paul Daniels did the original magical staging, if you like, and there are secrets in there that people still don't really know unless you've been in the show. So the finale is the bit that I can't get my brain around. Right, 5 times I've seen the show. 5 times when it comes to the finale, I sit on the edge of my seat like, right, come on, Amy, this is the time. This is the time you're going to suss this. Like, you're supposedly an intelligent person, theoretically. You can work this out, okay? The Phantom of the Opera sits in his chair. Cloak over him. Meg comes down a couple of minutes later, whips the cloak away. He has disappeared into the chair, and there's just a mask sat there. For the life of me, can I not work out how he disappears, how he goes? I mean, if anyone's been in the show, like if any of the Phantoms are watching this, just drop me a message and tell me how it's done. Like, I'll take it to the grave with me. I don't mind. I feel like I need to know. So yeah, like, I don't know. Maybe you're friends with Paul Daniels or something. Somebody out there, just tell me. Some stuff I've kind of sussed. Like, the Phantom tries to hang Raoul, and I think I kind of sussed the safety mechanism and stuff where the lasso just moves away. I kind of think I've got that in my brain, but the chair, no. I mean, there's bits where the Phantom's in like 3 or 4 places at once. The title song, Phantom of the Opera, is, you know, walking down the bridge, and then this comes out on the boat, and he can't be in both places at once. He can't be in all the places that he whips around going, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, in that bit, but he is. I mean, I'm not daft. I know that there's more than one person in the costume for those pieces, like, you know, spoiler alert. But it's still stunning. It's quite a simple trick in many ways, but it's really, really effective. you know, you still kind of go, ooh, what's happened there? So yeah, that's exciting. And if you go see it and work out the chair, I'm desperate to know. Like, you don't understand how much I need to know what goes on in the chair. It's bothered me for a long time. Okay, bothered me. Reason number 8 is the theatre itself, I guess. As I said, it's been in the same theatre for 32 years now. I think in part probably because it's got so many tricks and trapdoors and stuff that if they moved it, it'd be a nightmare to restage. But the theatre itself is amazing. You go to some theatres in London, and they're in like just like a row of buildings. It's like a 2 up, 2 down, and then you go inside and there's a stunning theatre behind it, and that's all well and good and cool. It's like a TARDIS. But you walk down the street towards Her Majesty's, and you look at it and you're just like, this is exactly what I expect a Victorian type of theatre to look like. Google it, Google image it, because it's a beautiful theatre from the outside. They did a lot of restoration work on it a couple of years ago, I think, and it does look amazing. It looks exactly like you want a theatre to look like, and the inside's like brilliant as well. It's got all the decorative stuff around the balconies and you know, beautiful ceilings and all that. It's like a palace. You can imagine people walking in there in like 1900 or whatever in the beautiful dresses and going to see something really spectacular there, and you can walk in and see something really spectacular now. So it's a nice continuity from that kind of perspective. Plus, the stage door is really handy. Like, front door here, walk around the corner, stage door, so you can trip over the cast. I mean, I've met a Raoul and a Phantom outside of there before today, just obnobbing down the street. So yeah, it's really handy to kind of see everyone. I mean, my mum nearly throttled me when Raoul walked past, like out of excitement and the fact that I was not paying attention and nearly missed him. But yeah, you can just see anybody. It's really cool. It's really handy from that point of view. Which brings me nicely on to reason number 9 why you should go see it. Is that Raoul is the best fictional musical man in existence, and I will fight anybody that tells me otherwise. He is he's kind of the hero of the show, if you like, and he there's a line at the end of the show where he says, I did it all for you, did it all to free you, for Christine. Like, he doesn't even do anything for Christine in the show because he's like, no, she's mine, stay away from her. There's none of that. It's just, that's the right thing to do when you're in bother, so I'll help you out. He's a nice guy. What's not to love about Raoul? Plus, I don't care who's playing him. He looks really good in the hussar jacket in Masquerade. More people should wear hussar jackets, I feel very strongly about that. And yeah, he's just an all-around nice guy. If you watch his face as opposed to Christine's when she's singing Think of Me, she's phenomenal. You can't take your eyes off her, but drag your eyes away for a hot second, right? And look at him in the box, and he's just sat there like, yep, that's my Christine. Like, if it was modern, and like, for argument's sake, she was like singing a modern pop song and she was a pop performer, he'd be there going, whoop, go Christine, that's my girl. That's a weird analogy, but yeah, he would be. Like, he's so proud of her, and I really like that. I mean, the least said about him in Love Never Dies, the better, I feel, because they totally changed him and it made me really angry. But yeah, he's like my favourite musicals character. And every time I see it and I see somebody playing Raoul, I'm like, oh, I'm their biggest fan now. Like, you can't help but fall in love with Raoul. He's perfect. Yeah. Lost my train of thought a little bit. But it kind of brings me nicely on to reason number 10. The final reason is that there's such like a divide in fans. Are you Team Raoul or are you Team Phantom? I mean, the fandom for Phantom, that's really difficult to say, is pretty crazy. Like, it's been around forever, so there are a lot of fans out there. And you can't be both. You either love Raoul or you love the Phantom. I went to go see Half a Sixpence after last year's West End Live, and I was in my I Love Raoul t-shirt because I wanted to rep the fact that I loved Raoul. And there was a woman a couple of rows in front of me wearing a t-shirt that said Team Phantom, and I was like, oh, musical theatre war about to start here. But yeah, people feel really, really strongly about it. Like, when I went to see it the first time, I think I was more Team Geronimo than I was Team Phantom. So I was like, I love the Phantom. I'm Team Phantom all the way. And then the second time I went to go see it, and it was Nadim Naman who's in it, and I was like, oh no, you can't love anybody else but Raoul. Like, you just can't. He's phenomenal. And you know, there's that level of conflict. I think if I went again and saw Luke McCall as the Phantom, I'd just be like, Christine, send Raoul away. Stay in the lair. What's wrong with you, girl? Have you got eyes? But yeah, that's the beauty of it. You've got that level of kind of conflict there, and whose side are you on? Because there's no right or wrong answer. I mean, there is a wrong answer because you've got to be Team Raoul because Phantom's a murderer, for God's sake. But actually, he has moments where you're like, oh, I really feel sorry for him. Really like this guy. It's very tricky. But yeah, that's exciting. You've got to go and decide which side you're on, because I can't tell you. People are either one or the other. You've got to go find out for yourself which side of the fence you need to be sat on. So that'll be exciting. But yeah, that kind of wraps it all up. I think the main reason you should go see it is that it's just brilliant spectacle, and the music's great, and everything comes together really well to make a really well-rounded show and a really well-formed show. And that's the reason it's been around for so long. I mean, if Andrew Lloyd Webber thinks that it's the best thing that he's ever written, and if Andrew Lloyd Webber thinks that he will never surpass it, are you going to have a row with Andrew Lloyd Webber? Because I tell you for nothing, I'm not. I mean, I'm kind of going to assume the guy knows his onions, so do what he says and just go see it.